День, дорогие друзья! Сейчас мы в прямом эфире пообщаемся на тему 10 причин, почему нужно учиться в Испании с директором образовательной школы Infinite School Мартой Уоллисер. Марта расскажет нам про особенности обучения и жизни в Испании, 10 причинах, почему там нужно учиться, расскажет про свою школу в Мадриде и про программу обучения и досуга. Расскажет про программы лидерства и бизнес испанского, летние программы для будущих лидеров. Смотрите наш вебинар. Вебинар пройдет на английском языке. Если у вас будут какие-то вопросы, вы сможете их задать в конце трансляции, можете задавать по ходу трансляции, и мы вам все ответим. Hello, Marta.
Hello,
so, please, yes, I'm very good. How are you?
Buenas tardes, muy bien, muchas gracias.
So please tell me a little bit about your school and then why people should go and learn in Spain.
Okay, so I tell you about myself. My name is Marta Uollisser. I'm Dr. Uollisser. Okay, I live in Spain. I have lived in many different countries, but now I live in Spain, and we offer different programs with different universities here in Madrid and in Barcelona and Malaga. And I tell you why should you come and study in Spain? Because Spain is a lot of fun. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about our country. Okay, our country is a very popular country. It's a number 2 destination for receiving students from all over the world. Okay, students come here to do different things. One of the things is to do language studies in Spanish, but also more and more time, we have students that come and want to study business. They want to study entrepreneurship, and they want to study design. Basically, because Spain has become a very important country in terms of making business in the world for 2 reasons. One is the language. Spanish is the second most spoken language in the world. And number 2, because Spain has a very strong business and company sector with a very important internationalization processes. So in order to be working for and practicing your Spanish, sometimes you will be working for a Spanish company in many different countries, not only in Spain. So that is one of the reasons why you should come and study in Spain. That is for your professional purposes. Also, Spain has a very interesting history and culture where you can find very, from our ancient medieval times, all of the Islamic influence, all the way up to very modern architecture. Okay. As you may know, Spain is one of the most important countries in terms of contemporary architecture, both with buildings and also with architects, engineers, and designers. Then the language. Spanish, as I said, top 2nd language in the world, spoken in all Latin America, in all of the US, all over Spain, but also is, the second sort of international language for business. Then, if your Spanish is not very good, then we can also study in English. So you feel more comfortable until your competence in the language becomes more developed. But you don't have to worry, because now in Spain you can do both, study both in English and in Spanish. Then our people. The people in Spain are very open. They're very friendly, and probably because of the weather, they're very optimistic. So it's very easy to make new friends. It's very easy to be able to mingle with people and to become adjusted and being part of our culture.
So what about how other people, what do they think about other nationalities? So do they think that all people should learn Spanish, or they're open to other nationalities?
I don't think so. I think people here, we are a very international country because we receive so many people from many different countries. You may come to different restaurants or even schools or everything, and you may see menus in many different languages. So what you're going to be seeing is that people are welcoming just because we're used to that. In terms of speaking just the language, I think Spanish people, two things. One of the things is that Spanish people will know how to speak Spanish and English, some German and some French, but that's about that. But you also will find a very large population from people from many different countries that now live in Spain. So that gives the country a diversity that is very unique and very new, that it wasn't like that in the past. So also one thing is that because all of the Spanish economy has gone through a major transition and has developed all over the world, being international is something that is very natural in Spain now. So being open to the world and being open to different countries is something that is very much integrated into the culture and actually into the schools and into the society. If you go to a university, the university that we work with, the University of Alcalá, is the one that receives the largest numbers from international students in Spain. So that really means that whatever you do, you're always going to find people from different countries, which also make it very interesting for the different people because everybody's going through the same process, getting to know about Spain, but at the same time, they get the opportunity to talk and to about their own culture, to compare, contrast, see the points of interest. And as I said, a lot of people will ask questions about your own country, basically because they may want to know. Spanish people also travel a lot. So they're very much used to, asking you and, you talking about your own ideas. Okay? So that's basically a little bit about how it is. The same thing with our business environment, with the companies, a lot of the Spanish companies are all over the place. So, you have to learn to get adjusted to this international culture, which I think is one of the most important things that students should consider when going to study to a different culture. It's not only language, but it's also to be culturally functioning in a different environment, in a different country, because in the future, you may have to work with people from different languages, different countries, and different cultures, just like what we're doing now. So it is an issue of trying to develop your cultural competence as early as possible. So it becomes easier and it becomes more integrated in your, academic
Okay.
schooling.
So it was reason number 4, right?
That was reason number for the people, our
Yeah.
universities. Well, we have very good universities in Spain, and a lot. In Madrid, only in the area of Madrid, just in around Madrid, we have 17 schools, 17 universities. The one that we work with, it's one of the oldest schools in Spain, but not only in Spain, in Europe too. It was founded in 1499 and it is a UNESCO site. So it's really beautiful, okay? And it's very close to Madrid. Okay, it is located in a university town. I don't know how the schools are over there, but in here we have certain cities that are university cities, university towns. Alcalá is one of them. So that basically means that most of the population that live there are students. So it's a very lively city. It has a lot of actividades, festivals, social life for younger students. Okay, the other one is the international companies that are all over the place now. So if you come to Spain, you get to know some of them, get to know how they work, get to know their culture. Maybe in the future, try to do an internship there, and maybe in the future you can work in a Spanish company all over the place. There's all kind of companies like telecommunication, engineering, architecture, design, fashion is a big field. Video gaming, all kind of applied technology, designers, you name it, in that creative area, you can get a lot of expertise. So that would be something that you can get while you're here and then learn. And then who knows? I mean, you may probably have a Zara in your own town, so you can get access to Spanish designers. Then obviously the weather. If you want sunny days, that beats it all. Okay, our beaches, our weather, we have 5 different climates in Spain. So you can go to the Canary Islands and you'll be in a perpetual summer. Then you can go to the Pyrenees and then you can go skiing. So outside of that, the weather is just really nice. And that allows you for a lot of outdoor activities and outdoor dining and outdoor life. And that's what also puts you in contact with our people. Then soccer. This is the home of the Barça and Real Madrid. So it is where people want to go. When students come to Spain, first thing they do is they go to the soccer field. If they are in Madrid, they will go to see Real Madrid. If they are in Barcelona, they'll go see Barca. So, this is one of the things that you get to live it in the first line. Okay. Then our food.
Yeah, I love Spanish food.
Yeah, Spanish cuisine. So be ready to come and then go back with a few more kilos, but it is very healthy and it is very good. So that's basically what makes a very open, outdoor, and easy country, I would say. What people say here is that we have a very easy lifestyle. Not there is a lot of activities outside, and there's not people are very talkative. We argue a lot. That's one we don't do. Spanish people like to discuss everything, but at the same time, because a lot of our life is outside, you mingle with a lot of people, and it just makes things. You don't feel alone, and that's one of the things that in here, if you feel homesick, you will always have someone to talk to, somewhere to go, and you will feel part of a community, which is extremely important when you're going to study outside from your country, outside of your home, to feel in a comfort zone where people understand what you're going through and also where people will just be with you without asking you any questions. So that is the easy part about it. Then what can you study in Spain? Well, that really depends on what you want to study. Okay. As I said before, Spain has changed a lot in the last 15 years, probably and mainly because of the Bologna declaration, and all of the Bologna process that has opened up our universities and schools to a lot more of international students for 2 reasons. One of them is because our country receives a lot of students. So we did have the need of creating new degrees and new opportunities for students to come um, and do different type of programs. Okay, when you go and study abroad, you don't decide to go for doing a full degree because sometimes we don't know. One, what are we going to study? Two, whether you're going to like the country or not. Three, how to do it. So what we always recommend the students is that they go to study for a short period of time. That will be the best test, an immersion program that it's very controlled for a particular time, like a summer program will be excellent for that. And at the same time, they will test and they will feel how comfortable they feel in the culture, which is the most important part. You can be in a very, very good university, but if you don't feel comfortable, you will not be happy, and then you will go home.
Right.
So the most important thing is to go through the whole process. First of all, is to know, what do I want to do? Then the second very important thing in Spain is that because of all of these changes, a lot of our schools now offer some degrees or dual degrees in English. So that makes it easier for our students, okay, for our international students. That also allows for more flexibility with the curricula and with the professors. In the past, Spanish university was very rigid. Now, because of the Bologna process, we find universities that are very flexible in terms of how you can work with your degree, more like the countries in the Northern European countries, but at the same time with the different approach that we have here to learning, okay? Which is a lot of cooperative learning, a lot of working with your peers in class. And I would say more cooperation and less competition is one of the things that would describe our system, okay? Then the other thing, if we have younger students, is that because of the Bologna process, most of our schools, of high schools and even secondary schools, have gone through a process of becoming bilingual schools, which is a total benefit for our international students because then they can do their schooling both in English and in Spanish. So at the same time, it will be a smooth transition into coming into the country. And for younger audiences, the thing would be that while they're preparing for the university test, they can feel comfortable using either English or Spanish. There are some private schools that are specific in other languages. Like we have a German school, we have a Swiss school here in Spain too, in Madrid, in different cities, not in all of the cities. We have French, German, Italian, probably Russian too. Okay. But it is not like a mainstream. The mainstream would be both English and Spanish. Is that more difficult? Well, to tell you the truth, it is not really that much more difficult because we have the same challenge for the Spanish students. Also, because we have a lot of international people living in Spain, we have a lot of expatriates bringing their kids to school as well. So they're going to find, the same type of international environment depending on the school. The second most important thing when you decided to go abroad is to see what you want to do. Some of the times we really don't know what we want to do. And that is one of the most important things. What do you want to study abroad for? What do you want to come to Spain? Or what do you want to go to Germany? Or where do you want to go in the States?
But usually, I talk a lot with the parents, and usually parents answer me that they want to give the best opportunities for their kids. but that children don't know what they want to do in the future. So what is your advice to do in this case?
I think that is the most difficult situation, and I agree with you. You know, we as parents want one thing, and the problem is with the kids is that they have so many options that they don't really know. What I always advise the students, because this usually happens not only with younger, secondary and high school kids, but also happens with young university students, and I think the most important thing is that I always advise them to think ahead of time. Okay. Sometimes it's very difficult to think about what do I want to do? What do I want to study? Sometimes the question is not that. Sometimes the question will be, what do you want to do in the future? Because if you tell me what you want to do in the future, then we can go back and see what kind of study will be better for you. And then we go from the reverse. For instance, if you want to be an artist, nobody comes up one day and says, I want to be a painter, or I want to be an architect, or I want to be an engineer. They don't think that way, but they can think, I want to make a building. I want to create something. And that's how we help them. I think that's one of the most important part of the job that we have, trying to advise them to open them up to a world of opportunities. I think today education it is much more dynamic than it was in the past. And the most important thing is, what do I want to use my education for in the future? For instance, some of the kids may want to do, it's not like you have to be a lawyer or a business person anymore, because if you're one of those, you still have to either have some field, that maybe it's not law, maybe it's international relations. And in terms of business, what type of business do you want to do? Do you want to do fashion business? Do you want to do financial business? Do you want to do corporate business? And the thing is to really explore a little bit ahead of time that field. So they may recognize things that it's attractive to them, and then we help them put a label into that. And because nowadays we have what we call the dual degrees, it is possible that a student may be doing something called sports management or fashion marketing, or different fields that were not possible in the past. Okay. One of the things we do in one of our programs is precisely introduce students to their future professional career. Okay. We have one of the programs that we have in the summer is the leadership and entrepreneurship program. And the whole idea of that is to have 1 month to explore what do they want to do? What do they want to do in the field of their future professional experiences? How do we do that? Having them meet with mentors and having them visit lots of companies, because there is many companies now that it's not just like going to the office. It's just they tell you how they do things. And it is through that conversation that the students are going to identify the fields that they feel most attracted to. Okay. I know for parents, it's a little bit difficult, because when we went to school, things were more structured, but this is not the case now. I mean, now we have younger students that, if given the opportunity, they can set up a business when they're 18 years old.
Right.
That didn't happen in the past. So what do we do with these kids? Well, what we do is to give them the skills and the instruments to go ahead and do that. But at the same time, we make sure that they know that that is something that they can do. But the important thing is to get the education, so that idea that they have needs a whole background to really grow. It's not the same thing to have just an idea than to make it into a business, than to make it solid, than to make it grow. Okay, so the making responsible of exploring that professional future, I think, is the most important thing that we as parents have to look out, and that the students have to be responsible for. Okay, we parents tend to want to give them solutions, and we all want to do that. But at the same time, in my experience, I've been more than 20 years in education. In my experience, what is very, very important is that the student also is responsible for making decisions, for trying, and for exploring and deciding what they like and what they don't like. Okay, so that's why when we're talking about going to study abroad, in my experience, it's always good that if the student is very young, we start with a transition, okay, in which they can see themselves in a different culture. They can develop all of their potential, which is something incredible. That's one of the benefits of studying abroad, that students can actually discover a lot of the talents that they don't know they have, just because they have to develop new skills when they live in a completely different situation. So that is something wonderful, and we have to hold on to that and make it grow as the student gets more mature. Sometimes it does happen, though, that some students may not be ready for that, and they get fearful. That's why short-term experiences are good, because then if they're not ready for that yet, maybe it's time for them to go back home, get it settled, and then they will be the ones to ask that they want to go abroad. So I think every student, it's a different case. I do think that conversation with the students are very important, because one of the things that we're finding, and the reason why we emphasize so much leadership into our programs, is leadership in a sense of responsibilities. Sometimes students say, my parents want me to do this, and they don't put as much effort. But if they are the ones that decide what do they have to do to have a better future, then they also feel responsible to do whatever is needed. For example, to study, to do their work, not to procrastinate, not to be lazy, that type of thing. I also think that the way that the sport's working now, it helps. It's to the benefit of the student, because a lot of the programs now offer that personal and professional academic development. So it is a good way, for them to put their feet into the profession. So any type of contact that they may have with a business, with the business environment, the sooner, the better. Okay, that's what we try to do with our summer programs. Give them role models, give them mentors, because a lot of the times they have a lot of questions. They can shadow somebody, and that will give you ideas as to what you want to do in the future.
And
If you ask me, yeah.
Yes, and can you please
I
tell
have
more?
a PhD in
Oh,
literature,
yeah.
so
Yeah, can you
so
please?
you never know what you're going to be doing.
Yes, yes. Can you tell more about your programs? About like what do you offer? Because we have a question. People asking how much do this program costs, and how long are they, and what age of kids? Can you tell a little bit about this? What do you offer? And what
Okay,
is it?
Yeah, what we offer different type of opportunities. Let me tell you a little bit of all of them, and then
Yeah.
I'll tell you about the adults or the kids. Is the question about adults or kids?
About kids and about adults. So the people asking price and how long is it and.
Okay, all right. What we're doing now is I mean, we can do what I would recommend now is the summer programs, okay? Especially the students have not been abroad before or have not been in Spain before. Why do we recommend that? For all of the reasons that I already told you. We offer two different type of programs, both with the adults and with the children, okay? Let me tell you a little bit first about the adults, okay? And then we'll move into the children, okay? With the adult programs, we do the summer program in leadership and entrepreneurship is very much oriented to business and design, okay? With a little bit of business Spanish, because they may need that in order to work with mentors and in order to work with businesses, which is what they're going to learn about, okay? And in that program, students, there is 5 courses that are offered. They get to pick 2 courses. One of them it's in leadership. The other one is in entrepreneurship. How do you develop your own business? It's great to have great ideas, but how do you make it happen? Okay, so what they have to do is they have to work with a mentor developing their own project if they have one. Okay, that's the interesting part. All of these kids are potential entrepreneurs, just like Steve Jobs was when he was young. But I mean, 2 out of 3 entrepreneurial startups fail because they don't know how to do a business plan. So in this course, what they learn is the life cycle of an idea. So they are not one of those 2 out that will be out of the business. Okay. Then they also have another course on how to shape up your ideas, which is discovering design. Some of them know that they have an idea in their head, but they don't know how to put it into practice. So that is step number 1 to any project that you have to do. Okay, and the other one will be your Spanish for business. Why do you have that opportunity? Well, we're in Spain, and you're going to be meeting with a lot of different Spanish business people, entrepreneurs, institutions that are going to tell you what to do if you want to come and do your business in Spain, or maybe if you wanted to do an import business with your own country. So it's very practical. It's very hands-on experience. I call this, like a mini job type of preparation. Okay, if you have your own project, that is the best, because then you can bring that in, and we put people to work with you in that. We have students who have made their own projects and they turn them into business. Students are very creative nowadays. Then we have another program that is slightly different, and that is more focused in interaction of the humanities and the technology. Okay. With this other program, it also takes place in the University of Alcalá, but here it has a different component and a different structure, because in this case, what we do is for students who have more of a technical career, like architects, engineers, designers, IT people, we play with the application of technology in learning about Spain. Okay. So we have a course on architecture that takes students all through the most famous wineries of Spain. So you learn about the wine business, but at the same time, those wineries had made a point of their, corporate image to have emblematic, big, huge buildings. So they go and they learn why do they do this, and then they learn from the architects how do you do it according, how do you bring together, a business idea with architecture. We have other courses in which students have to use technology for applying applications to the study of history, for instance, and they work with developing virtual reality applications, you know, and augmented reality. Then we work a lot with the integration of all of the digital technologies in terms of photography, movie making. So we can use all of those technical resources to bring culture closer to the people. You know, that is very interesting because a lot of these people, you know, a lot of, I don't know, people who study art or even people who study photography or people who are more into the visual capacities, then they end up working with museums trying to set up, you know, exhibits. So what we do is we put them in touch with professionals who studied whatever it is to tell them what was their professional development until they ended up doing something totally different, but that's what they do for a living. Okay, so those are the two areas of work that we have with the college students. The part that they have in common is that all of them are run through the University of Alcalá, the one that is very old and very close to Madrid. The good thing about that is that all of these courses are accredited by the university. So if they are already in school and they wanted to transfer the credits, they will get a transcript so they can receive credit in their home institution for that particular courses. So that's a benefit for them.
Okay, it's very good. But what about price and how long is this? And about nationality mix. What is the nationality mix?
Yeah.
Is it mostly Spanish people, or you have people all over the world who take this course?
Yeah, well, we have people from all over. We have some Spanish people. We have people from the States, okay, from Canada. Okay, most of them are English speakers, English-speaking people. So the U.S., Canada, some from Latin America. Okay, so that's the profile that you're going to get. Some Spanish people. Okay, very little Europeans because the Europeans are not very fond of summer experiences. Okay, and you know, they have the Erasmus, so it's a different system. They do it in a master kind of program afterwards. Every system is different, okay? And the courses are both in English and Spanish, okay? So we'll help them combine it. And the program costs around 4,000 euros, and it covers everything. It covers the tuition for the courses, except the trip, you know, everything else once they get here is covered. Room, board, trips, visits, cultural excursions, and all the university
life. How long
life.
is it? How many weeks?
1 month.
1 month, okay.
4 weeks.
4 weeks, okay.
4 weeks. Okay, 4 weeks. So that's the minimum. It's very intensive. Okay, they will go to class in the morning and they will go to visit schools in the afternoon. And then in the evening, sometimes we know it depends on the business that we're going to, because some of the business will only receive us in the morning. So it's good for them to start making their own professional network, because there are courses that are not like for many people, because they are very specific. So the good thing about that is that there's smaller groups. Okay, we don't have more than 15 students in one group. So they're able to work with the professor and with their mentors. And the good thing about that is that you develop a relationship not only with your professor and with all of the people that you meet, but also with students from all over the place. So if you are in the business world, then you can work with them in the future. That's what we found very good for them. For the kids, it's different. Okay, for the kids, it's a little bit of, sort of introduction to all of that. Okay, because our younger students, the ones that are in secondary school and in high schools, they are exactly on the, in the gap that we talked about before. They know that they have to make decisions, but they really don't know what they have to do. They really are still concerned with their schooling and stuff. And what the schools require are somehow different things that the university students required. So the way we articulate the leadership and entrepreneurship isn't the same way that we do it with the adults. We play like they're working on a company. So they get to study, from a very, introductory level, what is that they have to do when they work in a business. So they still have, an intro to entrepreneurship where they get to know, and they do really good at that. I mean, they probably do better than us, they're more creative, and they learn, well, how to define their idea, how to make their business. They learn, we practice with them and with the adults as well, a lot of debate and pitching, because one of the most important part is how to sell your product. Okay, and they don't know how to do that. So we have to work on articulation of discourse and pitching. Okay, and then the last part that they learn is, how to put it into the market. Okay, so they do that sort of like in a mini course, okay, the younger ones. The other course that they do is the leadership too, in which they learn about building up their own decision-making skills, negotiation and debating. That's partly of what we do with them, because they don't know how to articulate ideas. So we help them work through the thinking process. And that's where the responsibility that I told you about comes in. Okay, and the other one is narrative and design thinking as well. They learn how to put their ideas into practice. They are even more daring. Okay, so technology in this case comes as part of the course. Okay, they also have their Spanish class. So that will be sort of like the younger or the junior leadership and entrepreneurship program.
But what age is it about? What age?
This will take students from 14 to 17.
Okay.
They're very young. Okay. Younger than that, they will do language. Okay. And we don't run, 6 to 12. I mean, if they were 13 or so, that's okay. They can go into the program. If they are 10, they will be too young. Okay. Those will be, I will aim those just to language type of courses and gaming and app development and type of, other things like that, of that sort. With the younger ones, some of them have a requirement of language. Okay, that's what we saw. Whereas in the university, we don't have the Spanish language requirement anymore. With the younger students, we do. So we do have a program that is dedicated mostly to Spanish language and culture. Yes, a little bit more traditional in the way of the language study approach and the culture. The thing that is different in that term is that when we work on the culture, we also incorporate a lot of the technology with the older students in it, like movie making, digital photography, app development, gaming. They're very, very good at developing games, robotics, anything that you put technology into it. They love it. So they will learn anything. Those will take place in Barcelona, okay, and some of them in Madrid as well. And it's about the same price, and it's about the same. I mean, all of our programs cover everything, okay? It covers, once the students come here, we'll pick them up. They'll have the orientation session. I forgot to tell you, all of our students are accommodated in university dorms. Okay? Yes, it's very important, basically, because we don't work with families, because with the program, there's lots of activities when we have visitors, from different sectors and, from different institutions. Sometimes they will come and do a roundtable in the afternoon or in the evening. We have dinners, there's discussions, there are guests, people that come and see them to talk and explore different topics. There's activities after class. And the place where we hold it is it's a really nice modern student residence that we have, halls and rooms available for that. They also have a sports center, they have a pool, they have a cafeteria, they have everything so they can be comfortable.
And those are your two main programs what you offer, right?
Yeah, those are the main programs that we offer. After that, then if you wanted to, let's say, if you are a younger student, and if you decided that you wanted to come for a gap year, if you are a student who are finishing high school, okay, and then transitioning to university, and you don't know whether or not you want to study in Spain, there is one program that we call the gap year program. And in that gap year, what you do is you are part of you can stay either in the high school and do your last year of high school in Spain, so you can get to work with the language, you can get to prepare for your selectividad, which is the state test that the student have to take, and then you can get a much fuller immersion. Will help you get your paperwork for the university. And that will be either a 1 semester or a 1 year program if you wanted to do that. Okay, that will be for the children, and then after that, then they will visit the different schools and see where they want to go. We'll help them through the process, and then after that, they will go into the direction that they decide to take. With the university students, they have the summer options. They also have the study abroad. Depending on the year that they are in the university, they may just want to come to Spain for, let's say, a 1-year program, okay? If they don't want to start, or they may want to come to Spain for, I don't know, an internship in a company. Say that they come to the summer program and they find a company that they like and that they like to spend more time working with them. So if you were to do that, then the process is different, because at the same time they will get registered in the university, they can complete the 6 months or the year program, and then they will return. If the student has already started university and want to transfer to Spain, okay, in that case, they will have to fulfill with all of the requirements. So it really depends on when do you want to come and for how long. Anytime that it's partial time, they will be in our programs, okay, and we help them with everything. If they finally decided either to join one of our schools for a full year or to apply for the university, we'll help them in the process. But once they get accepted, then they'll just go into the regular university.
And our time is going to be over soon, so we have a question. Our time is going to be over soon, and because we have 1 hour for the.
Okay.
So one last question. For example, if students want them to study in Spain, how easy for them is find a job and stay in Spain after they graduate? What do you think?
That entirely depends on the field that they do. It depends on the field that they want to join. It depends on the competence, linguistic competence, and also in the cultural competence. If they wanted to do any technical fields, engineers, they do have jobs. Okay, any kind of audiovisual, it's good here. It really depends on the field in which you want to work. Journalism, it will be difficult. It really depends on what your orientation you want it to be. International businesses will be a good area. Anything import-export will be something that they could probably do, okay? The only thing, though, is that they may have to go back, to their country to get their visa renewed.
Okay, thank you very much for your speech. It was very interesting and nice. So we will save this for all our people, and many people will be able to see it in the future. So thank you very much. And now I will over our webinar. So we will be in touch with you maybe tomorrow. Okay?
Okay, great. All right. Thank you for everything. Bye. Bye-bye. Thanks. Okay, bye.